This is a map two men drew in secret in the middle of the First World War, and the countries on it didn't exist yet. In 1916, while the Ottomans still ruled the Arab Middle East, Britain and France secretly agreed to carve it up. One of them, a British MP named Mark Sykes, drew it almost straight, from Acre to Kirkuk, a clean route to the oil, across a land he'd never seen. Those borders are what Iraq, Syria and Lebanon still fight over today. But Britain had already promised that same land to the Arabs. To spark their revolt against the Ottomans, it promised Hussein, the ruler of Mecca, a kingdom of his own. And a young officer, T.E. Lawrence, rode with Hussein's son, Prince Faisal, to win it. Yet even then, Sykes was secretly handing that kingdom to France and its diplomat, Georges Picot, because the two empires had agreed to split the spoils between them rather than fight over them later. When the Ottomans fell, those spheres became real countries. France took Syria and Lebanon, Britain took Iraq, Palestine, and a new land it named Jordan. The trap was not the borders themselves, it was who they locked inside them. For 13 centuries, Sunni, Shia, Christian, Kurd and Druze had lived here under an Ottoman empire that mostly let each community keep its own faith and courts. Sykes and Picot ran their lines straight through it, trapping rival communities inside single states, each ruled by just one. In Iraq, Britain crowned Faisal, Hussein's son and its wartime ally, a Sunni king over a Shia majority. It was a consolation prize. France had just thrown him off the Syrian throne, and the Arabia his father was promised was falling to the rival Al Saud, so Britain gave Hussein's sons Iraq and Jordan. France built Lebanon around its oldest local allies, the Maronite Christians, leaving a Christian minority on top. And in Syria, it packed the army with Alawites, a scorned minority, to keep the Sunni majority down, until those officers seized power and the Assads ruled for 50 years. None of these states had a real nation underneath, so each could only be held by force, a strong man and his secret police, and when he fell, nothing held it together. They came apart. Coups and a US invasion in Iraq, civil war in Lebanon, and in 2011, a Syrian war that killed over 500,000. In December 2024, the Assad regime fell, and a former jihadist, Ahmad al-Sharaa, took Damascus, only to inherit the same broken country with fresh massacres of Alawites and Druze within months. Lebanon, bankrupt and gripped by Hezbollah, has barely begun to recover. Of the four these two men invented, only Jordan held, spared the others deep sectarian splits, steadied by one Hashemite king after another. A century later, the region still lives inside their lines. But Britain had one line left to draw, not in a distant desert this time, but at home, on an island it had ruled for 700 years. Follow for part 4.